Good afternoon, and again, welcome to Zim Gym time. So cheers. Very exciting news this week. I've been proudly partnered with Small Town Stills and Zimbabwe Gin for my gin and tonic time. So they've kindly sponsored a couple of bottles for me to take on my trip. So a huge shout out to them for supporting me on this little trip of mine. And yeah, we'll give them a shout out, and it's going to be the Zim Gym time, no longer the gin and tonic time. So thanks to them. Been a bit of an interesting week this week. We've had my ups and downs. We drove in, my brother and I drove up to Harare from Ghana on Saturday morning. It was about a 9-hour trip through somewhat of the back roads in Zim. So again, another nice little test for the vehicle. And then Monday morning, I went in and got the vehicle serviced, the first 5,000 Ks on the vehicle, so I had to get that serviced, and then went and dropped it in to get some window tints. And then Tuesday, I dropped it off at Auto World to get the springs or the suspension redone, as with all the weight that we've had from South Africa, or we put on in South Africa, it needed to be rebalanced and stuff. So got that all done. We did find an issue with the lithium charging, so the battery in the back, so the dual battery. So I've got one in the front, one in the back, and the lithium battery wasn't really taking a charge as well as we'd hoped, just with the alternator while we're driving. So with Auto World 4x4, they've suggested we put on a direct charger. So when I do get to a spot with power, we can plug it right in and hopefully fully charge that battery before we go out on the next kind of adventure. So as you can see now, I am at my friend Tara Stockhill's house in Marondera. So I'm kind of north of Marondera, and then I'll head up into Macheki, Virginia, which is my old farming town or farming district. Stay with my cousin Scracky for a couple of days and hopefully catch up with Scracky, his family, and then I'm hoping one of my other cousins, Doug, was going to come watch some rugby, watch the Springboks, hopefully take the championship tomorrow against Argentina and playing in London. And then Monday I head to the Gairezi. So Monday, Tuesday I'll be in Gairezi. Wednesday, Thursday I will be in Nyanga National Park, and then hopefully Thursday night I'll find a B&B in Matari, and that's where I'm going to meet my folks, and then we're going to head out to Mozambique from there. So that's the plan for next week. This week been a little bit frustrating. I kind of planned a lot of things back to back, hoping that they're all going to be done and dusted as prescribed by the people who were doing the work. Unfortunately, I forgot to factor in Africa time, and things got bumped and pushed and moved. And I was hoping to be out here on Wednesday, spend Wednesday, Thursday, and then kind of spend more time in the national park. But it is what it is. I'm not complaining. It is just I've got to remember that things do take a little bit more time over here, and I've just got to remember that I've got to be patient. So that was a life tip for this week. I also had to deal with Zimbabwe police on Tuesday. A friend of mine was driving. We were driving around doing errands, and unfortunately she got sideswiped by a vehicle. The way it works here is there's no traffic lights, or the traffic lights very rarely work, so people kind of creep into intersections and try and make you stop. This guy was not really paying attention. We tried to go around them. He was looking at oncoming traffic from the other side, saw his gap, took off, and just went straight into us. Everyone was okay, luckily, so no problems, but big shout out to Dennis Orphanides, who I phoned and said, hey, what do I do now? So he helped get the cops there and kind of run through the procedure of what you do when you have an accident in Zim. So as I say, luckily no one was hurt. Damage to the vehicles and stuff, which is not great, but luckily no one was hurt. So we're going with that. We're going for that positive. And then part of the deal of my brother looking after my dog while I'm traveling, Remy the Ridgeless is staying with my brother while I'm away. But part of the deal was that I would build him a chicken run and chicken coop because my dog has now a fond taste of chicken. So while building this little coop for him, I have again found out the frustrations of cheaply made tools. And after spending about 2 hours putting in 3 rivets, I eventually lost my mind and told my brother that if he wants the little doors on the back of the chicken hutch to fold down, he would have to do it because I was done and dusted, and I was extremely frustrated with the whole situation. So yeah, if you're going to buy tools, buy good tools because they will last you and will lead to less frustration. So have the right tools for the job, but also make sure they're decent quality ones so that you can actually get the job done. And I'm sorry for Brian for calling you out for having the cheap and cheerful tools, but yeah, it was extremely frustrating to try and work on that. But yeah, other than that, it has been a fairly productive week, just getting everything last minute preps and stuff like that for the trip. Excuse me. Last couple things to do. I believe I've got everything. I've also got all my food packed and ready for the Gairezi and Inyanga. I don't believe I'm going to be going through many towns on my way there because I'm going all the back roads. But I am looking forward to it. It is something, again, I haven't spent much time there. I did do far and wide when I was a youngster, but I haven't gone to those places, the Eastern Highlands as they're called in Zimbabwe, for a while. So it'll be interesting to catch up to see what's out there. I know the big tea states are out there, far and wide. Troutbeck is also another spot up there. So looking forward to going and seeing all that. And I'm just very happy to be on the road now. It's officially, I know I've only probably gone 100 Ks, which is not a huge amount, but it is a start, and I'm away from my original posting and where my official start point is. So I am officially on the road, as they say. And again, just want to shout out to everyone. Thank you very much for following along. As I say, as I get deeper into this, I think these conversations may end up being quite deep. But yeah, I think it's something to talk about. There's been a few suicides in Zimbabwe recently, and I think it just highlights the need to actually be able to have a conversation about mental health and looking at yourself and then making sure that you're looking after your mates who are around. It is a serious thing. The stat is that suicide is the biggest male killer between 25 and 35. I know someone will fact check me on this. I don't believe I'm wrong. But it is something that's very real and something that's happening to a lot of youngsters in Zimbabwe, but also worldwide as well. We have this macho attitude where, we're stronger than anything. Folks are telling us to just take a teaspoon of concrete and harden up, and sometimes it's more than that, and it's sometimes being able to recognize the signs that your mate's in trouble and being able to intervene sooner rather than later is always the better option. So if you have that mate reach out randomly and have a random conversation, just double check and make sure you check in with him and see if he's actually all right. Sometimes those random conversations are a cry for help, or I'm not saying a cry for help, that sounds, it's an olive branch that they're trying to reach out and they're trying to get help, or they're trying to get some connection. A lot of guys need purpose in life, and when that purpose gets taken away, they struggle, and they need to find their identity, which can be quite hard, and especially in environments like this in Zim, where everyone's busy, everyone's surviving, everyone's making their way. So if you do get a conversation like that, or you do get someone reach out randomly, make sure you check in with them again in a couple of days and make sure that they feel valued, and that, yeah, make sure they feel valued, and yeah, have that conversation. Have a gin and tonic time. Go and have a social with them. Make sure they're doing all right, because you don't want to wake up the next day and find out something horrible's happened. So, yeah, I think that's going to be the end of today's gin and tonic time. Again, a big shout out to Small Town Stills for supporting the channel and my little journey of self-discovery and reconnection and recalibration with the wild recovery. And yeah, cheers guys. I hope you have a great weekend. Look after yourselves, be safe, and we will see you next week. Cheers guys.